Hey everyone, welcome back to JarDev. Welcome to another top 5 list. This one's actually 2 top 5 lists in one video. It's not video games, I'm afraid, so hopefully if you're watching this video, you have decided that what I'm going to talk about is interesting enough. So in this video, first I'm going to go over my top 5 albums of the year, and then after that the top 5 matches, top 5 wrestling matches of the year. So if you're any interested in one of them, I guess you could skip ahead if you'd rather. But hopefully if you're watching, you're at least somewhat interested. I will try and make it interesting for you. I hope you like my my beautiful Christmas sweater. It's nice, isn't it? Alright, so obviously music tastes are incredibly subjective, so my personal music preferences, as you might be able to tell from some of the posters. Got Devil Wears Prada up there, Trivium over there, and another Prada one right there actually. But yeah, I'm super into heavy metal, mostly metalcore, so that is going to be most of this top 5 list. Funnily enough, the number 5 is not actually metalcore. Number 5 is The Skeptic by Tillian.
And it's been happening more than just on occasion.
Tillian, don't even know his last name, is the clean vocalist for post-hardcore band Dance Gavin Dance, and I love Dance Gavin Dance. Robbie and I actually went to see them here in Calgary. It was their first time ever in Calgary, so that was really cool. And after the show, Robbie asked me if I'd listened to Tillian's solo album at all. I hadn't, because not huge into the solo albums, because you know there's no harsh vocals in it, and that is my shit. But I listened to it, and like it's super poppy, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's one of the most played albums on my Google Play right now because I listen to it over and over and over. And like the whole album's pretty poppy, but almost every song is like kind of a different genre. Like he goes all over the place on this album. It is really worth a listen. All clean vocals, no harsh vocals at all. But I really liked it. So number 4, in a very similar vein, is Artificial Selection by Dance Gavin Dance. Obviously it features Tillian from the previously mentioned album, but the harsh vocals in this album are fantastic as well. They played, I think, 4 songs when Robbie and I saw them here, and oh god, that was a great show. They do a really good live performance actually. There's like 7 of them on stage or something. It's pretty nuts. But I love this album. I've actually only listened to this one and the previous album by Dance Gavin Dance, Mothership. Robbie says he prefers Mothership, but I absolutely loved Artificial Selection. Count Basie was my favorite song on it. It's a really great album. It is also very all over the place. They have a lot of kind of like jazz funk influences in Dance Gavin Dance. The music's pretty wacky. The lyrics are bizarre oftentimes, but I love this album. It is so flippin' catchy. Okay, coming in at number 3 is an album that almost fell off my top 5 list. This was released back in February, I think, and because it had been so long since I listened to it, I was going to not have it on the list, and then I was like, I'd better listen to it again, and holy shit, it is fantastic. So it shot up from being like number 6 all the way to number 3, and this album is Life in Exile by Shields. So this was Shields' debut album, and unfortunately it is their last album because they announced, probably sometime in the middle of 2018, that they were going to call it quits, unfortunately, which sucks, but holy shit, what an album. The lead singer is Sam Kubrick, who is actually the grandson of Stanley Kubrick, interestingly enough. And this album is full-on metalcore. The previous ones were just pop and post-hardcore. This is fantastic metalcore. Kubrick has a phenomenal voice. It is really worth a listen. Standout tracks to me are White Embers, that is my favorite track, but also the closing track, Aokigahara, about the Japanese suicide forest. Just give it a listen, it's great. Coming in at number 2 is another band I haven't really listened to, or hadn't really listened to too much of their other albums. I have number 2 is Dark Skies by Fit for a King. I listened to their previous album a little bit. It was kind of good, nothing really stuck out. It was kind of good, kind of background noise for me when I was just like reading or something. But then to promote Dark Skies, they would put out a new single. I think it was like once every month until about half the album was lead singles before it came out. And I really like just listening to albums in their entirety. So I didn't listen to any of them, but everyone was saying like when a new single would come out, they'd be like, "Oh, this is fantastic, it's gonna be album of the year." I was like, okay, whatever, we'll wait and see. And then I listened to it when it came out, and it just absolutely blew me away. It's just 10 tracks. It is more metalcore. That's most of my music taste is metalcore. But holy crap, it totally blew me away. I saw them open for Devil Wears Prada here in October, and they were great. I think they were probably a better show than Devil Wears Prada, and they played like 6 songs from Dark Skies, which was great. My absolute favorite track is When Everything Means Nothing. There's not very much harsh vocals in that one actually, it's a lot of clean, so it's quite an easy song to get into. But yeah, easily my favorite. And then before we go on to number 1, don't want this video to be too long, I'll do some honorable mentions. These are other albums that came out this year that didn't make it onto the top 5, but they were kind of in consideration. So I'll just go through them really quickly. We have Dispose by The Plot in You. Should have been a solo album, I think. Hard Feelings by Bless the Fall. I think it's their best album since Awakening. Analog Future, the live album by Northlane. I guess because it's a live album, it didn't really make the cut. Also, I liked everything else better, but Analog Future was really, really good. The self-titled album by Secrets. This was so close. It was really hard to not have this one on the list. But I think because I enjoyed The Skeptic so much by Tillian, that Secrets just fell off it, unfortunately. It's like very, very close to number 5. And also Beautiful Death by Slaves. So we come in number 1. One of the best albums I've ever listened to is The Silver Scream by Ice Nine Kills.
Just like Georgie, it's all out of hand. So join me. Da, 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 da.
Like a lot of bands on this list, I hadn't listened to very much before I listened to The Silver Scream. I listened to a little bit of the Safe is Just a Shadow? What the heck is it called? Safety is Just a Shadow? Whatever it is, that Shadow album. I listened to a bit of that when it was remastered, and just like with Fit for a King, it didn't really stick out, just kind of background noise for me. And then Ice Nine Kills put out The American Nightmare as like a lead single for Silver Scream, and I listened to it, and it just, first listen, it completely hooked me. I listened to just the single over and over, and this is from someone who doesn't really like listening to the singles before the full album comes out. And then after just listening to that single over and over, here's Munchkin. Jesus. Hello. Hi. Right. Yeah. You're on camera. You look up there. So after The American Nightmare came out, I just didn't listen to any of the singles until the full album came out, and listened to the full album, and again, it just totally blew me away. It's one of the best albums I've ever listened to. The whole idea of the album is every song is based off a horror movie. I think they released it 2 or 3 weeks before Halloween, so it was like the perfect time to release it. So I was listening to all these songs. It inspired me to watch a bunch of the classic horror movies around Halloween, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Funnily enough, and I almost never do it, there were 2 songs on this album that I would skip every time they came on. It was Savages and Freak Flag. Just didn't really think those were that good. So, but the rest of the album, like the other 11 songs, were just so good that even with 2 what I would consider dud tracks, it was still my album of the year. And because of this album, I went back to listen to their previous album, Every Trick in the Book, which is possibly even better. And I'm slowly working my way back through all their albums right now. It's hard to pick just one favorite song, but I'd probably have to go with It Is the End, which is based on It. And whew, you need to listen to it. It It's all over the place. It's insane. And as a thank you for getting this far in the video, if you have, if you're interested, I have one free digital download code for The Silver Screen by Ice9Kills. It came with my vinyl copy, and like I use Google Play Music, so I don't need digital downloads, but I know some people still do. So if you want this, first come, first serve, it'll just be right in the middle of the video, so if you're here, you can have it. To get it, you go to memphisvinyl.com/downloads, and you'll enter the code JPZ_XE, and that'll all be on the screen. Alright, so that's all the music stuff out of the way. If you're at this part of the video, you want to see my top 5 wrestling matches of the year. These are obviously only matches that I've watched. I tried my absolute best to watch pretty much every recommended match, so there's lots of different promotions on this list here. Just let's start it off. Number 5, the 5th best match of the year. I have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair from WWE Evolution on October 28th.
Somebody stop! Drop off the ladder through Charlotte, through the table!
So Evolution, I'm already changing how I'm pronouncing it, was the all-women's pay-per-view in October, and the build was so appalling for this pay-per-view. Just like I looked at the match card and I thought, this is gonna be shit. Like I'm already kind of on my way out of WWE. I don't watch the weekly shows anymore. I watch NXT and 205 Live, but I don't watch Raw and SmackDown. So like I looked at it, I was like, I can't be bothered to watch this live. I'll just let it play and I'll watch it on the WWE network later that night, and I can skip through all the shit matches. And I put it on, and I made it all the way to the end of the show, skipping one match. And I remember, I can always tell if I think a match is good because, you know, if a match is good, I have no interest in checking my phone during the match. Some of the other matches I was like on Pokemon Go or like checking Twitter occasionally. But the Becky Lynch and Charlotte match, I forgot my phone was even in the room when I was watching it. I was just, my eyes were glued to the screen. I was absolutely in love with that match. And this match is not only the best women's match in WWE this year, in my opinion, it's actually the best main roster WWE match this year. It's that good. It's not available for free on YouTube, unfortunately. You can get a trial subscription to the WWE Network. I think they give you like a month for free, so you can check it out there if you're interested. I think it's a very good entry point match. I believe there's a good video package leading up to it, so if you're looking to get into wrestling, that's not a bad place to start. Okay, coming in at number 4, I have Taiji Ishimori versus Hiromu Takahashi from the Best of the Super Juniors 25 on June 4th.
Release German Ishimori on his feet! 1 down!
And I think this was Hiromu's last match this year. It was like one of the very last because he broke his neck, unfortunately, like just after this match. I mean, he should still be recovering. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to come back, like it's not the end of his career. I think, fingers crossed. I think he's doing well. But like, holy shit, what a final match for the year. This was insane. This was in Korakuen Hall in Japan, just by the Tokyo Dome, which is this tiny little like sumo building, I guess. Like half of the building is normal stairs, chairs, and the other half is like really tiny bleachers where you have to cross your legs. And like, there's not many people there. There's standing room up on the balconies, and they had just this blow-away match in there. I distinctly remember at one point they brawl up into the stands, and fucking Hiromu just he gets like punched. Oh no, I think at one point he runs along and drop kicks Ishimori like on the concrete, which is insane. And then I think it's Hiromu who gets like kicked down these concrete stairs, which is insane, especially when you think that like his neck was obviously not doing great at this point. But holy fuck, what a match. Like, there were a ton of great matches in the Best of the Super Juniors. That one is absolutely worth a watch. I know New Japan uploads some matches for free on their website on New Japan World or njpwworld.com. They don't seem to put any free matches on YouTube, so this one might be free on njpwworld.com. I think the subscription is totally worth it. It's 9.99 yen per month, so which is like $10 US. And I've had it since Wrestle Kingdom 11. I think we're coming up to 13 now. Yeah, I've got the poster for 12 behind me right there, which I got from like a Japanese convenience store. Oh no, I got that one from the Tokyo Dome. But yeah, this was an amazing match. Hiromu is just out of this world. So number 3, I had a lot of Johnny Gargano matches on my list, and it was pretty difficult to pick just one, because I didn't want to have like 3 of the top 5 be Johnny Gargano, but I ended up choosing Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas from TakeOver Philadelphia on January 27th. Like I said, I think Gargano had like 3 5-star matches rated by Dave Meltzer this year. So I just kind of chose my favorite. I remember watching this and just thinking it was incredible. Like, all the other ones were incredible too, but this one just seemed like a little bit something special to this match. Again, I don't think it's available for free, unfortunately, but you can get it in a trial for the WWE Network if you're interested. I'm purposely not talking about who won each match at all, just because, you know, if you are very new to wrestling and you might be interested in checking some of these matches out, because I love them so much, that you want to go in, you know, maybe see the storyline in the video package, but don't know who's going to win at all. So I don't really want to say too much more about this match, but Johnny Gargano is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Almas is not too shabby either. Almas is fantastic. Okay, coming in at number 2, I have Hiroki Goto versus Tomohiro Ishii from the G1 Climax 28 on July 21st.
Superplex. Whoa! He's got him up. Stalling.
So the G1 is it round robin? It's a tournament where basically everyone in bracket A fights everyone in bracket A, and then everyone in bracket B fights everyone in bracket B, and at the end, the person who has the most points from each bracket go head to head. So it's like, I think it's about 2 months. It's always in the summer. I think it's about 2 months of just the best wrestlers in the world having some of the best matches of the year. I actually got to watch every match of the G1 this year. All previous years I've been working, doing manual labor outside, so I would get home in the evening and be like, I'll just watch the best matches. So I just watched usually I watch like 10 matches or something, but this year I actually watched all of them. And like I was saying with the Becky Lynch and Charlotte match, you know, sometimes if in a match I might be like check my phone or whatever, check Reddit or Twitter. But again, with Goto versus Ishii, I was just glued to the screen, couldn't look away. It is one of my favorite matches ever. I don't think this one is actually going to end up on a lot of people's top 5s. Hopefully you can let me know yours in the comment if you have any. But yeah, I just absolutely loved this match. And I feel like a lot of people are probably going to forget this one. But it's so good. I love it. So just like with all my other top 5 lists, I want to go over some honorable mentions. And there's a lot in here. And after the honorable mentions, you are going to easily be able to guess my match of the year. Probably. So these are they're just in chronological order, just going by the dates they happened. So, God, I'm not going to be able to talk about any of them at all. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom 12, January 4th. I saw that match in person, it was amazing. It was just so unique. I don't even think it was the best match there, but it was such a unique match that it had to go on my list. Golden Lovers versus Young Bucks at Strong Style Evolved, March 25th. Will Ospreay versus Marty Scurll at Sakura Genesis, April 1st. That was really close to being in the top 5 as well. The NXT North American title match at TakeOver New Orleans, April 7th. It's insane. It's a ladder match. It is fucking nuts. Also from the same show, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. El Desperado versus Dragon Lee at Best of Super Juniors 25, June 3rd. This is going to be on nobody's top 5 list, but I loved this match. It was so good. In fact, I love this match so much that it actually inspired me to get an El Desperado match off eBay, a mask. He became like one of my favorite wrestlers after this match. It didn't quite make it on the top 5, but I love this match. One of my favorite matches of the year. Okay, still doing honorable mentions. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa again. TakeOver Chicago June 16th. Kenny Omega versus Tomohiro Ishii at G1 Climax 28 August 4th. Jordan Devlin versus Walter at Over the Top Wrestling WrestleRama 2 August 18th. That one's available for free on YouTube, I know, because that's where I watched it. And the final honorable mention is Will Ospreay versus Jay Lethal, Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, September 28th. So there's actually only one match after September on my list. Okay, and my match of the year. If you know wrestling, you should be able to guess this, but it's obviously Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada at New Japan Dominion June 9th. This is their 4th match ever, the 4th match in their series, and going into the match they were tied. So Omega had 1 victory, Okada had 1 victory, and they had 1 tie. This is the best series of matches in the history of professional wrestling. This is, as rated by Dave Meltzer, the best match in the history of pro wrestling. He gave it 7 stars out of 5. It's one of the best. It is the best match, the best wrestling match I've ever seen, and it happened this past year. It's unbelievable. They're basically the 2 best wrestlers in the world. People will argue about whether Okada's the best or whether Omega's the best. Doesn't really matter. They are easily 1 and 2. It doesn't matter which order they're in, but they are the absolute best wrestlers in the world. And this match is amazing. I will say, if you're looking to get into wrestling, I wouldn't actually start with this match. I would start with their very first match at, I think it was Wrestle Kingdom? Yeah, it was at Wrestle Kingdom 11. So if you're looking to get into wrestling, that is definitely the match I would recommend. It's not from this year, but then you can work your way up to this match, and by the time you get to it, you'll be like, holy shit, wrestling. So there you go. That was a couple more top 5 lists for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. I know it's not video games at all, but I like more than video games, and I love wrestling and music, so I really wanted to make these lists. I've been like saving a notepad document on my computer since the beginning of the year because I really wanted to do this video. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching this. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Please tell me your top 5s in the comments below if you have them. And I will see you next time. Bye!